say ewo UTV so and I will show me din e de ekua asante ba mensa and then so ya sing ehia biem e ba be twetwe nkomo anase ye ba be sua ade afane amra no e ka efa enema bebre ho na enem say ye nkomo no ye be limited to operation recover all loot em say do na afen orala the then president elect because em say 2024 election ye call ye time NDC for we ni ya ne ye nyan swear in your president at that time no your president elect but now ye nyan swear in my name be your president me say in his quest to try to fight corruption or constitute sa board no man na sa institution na sa group no say wo mo enhwehwe corruption in semsemu na ye nhwese ne be ya ibetumi a prosecute sa no ntene ye nkomo no efa ho say ye hwe say ye mra ni mu ha no me say na ye mra kwan so say was a president elect onya be president no obetumi a constitute ekuo bi a etesa na afeso ye legal na say nye legal so what's the way forward into ye nkomo no eno ho efa na answer na be koso ye nkoje nkato ye ba na ya to aso. Well, UTV so be that say we feed no eda so eda ha to say na me kind na ye nkomo twetwe no efa oral operation recover all loot na me private legal practitioner ye lawyer Richard ni ama ene wo me studio ha enti em say lawyer akwaba and I say ya shada me ashe green you try uniform ye be ka green way for what say ya da me NDC for and I make ye be ka say ya shada anyway say for the purposes of oma wo mo hwe yen e bia na ye ka operation recover loot and I say oral na wo mo enti ase enti me pese bia betumi de ya femu say oral and I say operation recover all loot no ye bodinya ne foreba ye fi hemfa ne ba ya na say ase no echereseng.
Okay, oral and I say operation recover all loot no em say menu nyina be ya adwene say campaign promise and I say manifesto promise National Democratic Congress na Omanpanyin President Mahama edin wanim no and what the report what the promise ne by see say wo ba no wo be di apan ne so a sebe bibia aban mu nipa biara awia no wo be pekwan bi so no wa agini na inti no eno na wa fabrofo bi di atosha wo fe no operation recover all loot na say adi bia obi afa kosie bia no se aban ne ba wo kwakwaje e de afi sa nipa nsem inti ase kakra e wo oral no hono
na orally me sure say even though em say public no widely no one accept na manfo ni age say em say bibi sa because em say oba ye man mu I think one of the major things are high impunto corruption but answer na be ba corruption ho asem no what I want to find out is say time na president no and I say because a president elect a constitutee sa ekuoi based on his campaign promise no na obi beka say yenyan swear in as a president enti to me ben na ogina so a ode for me sa ekuoi and say to me bie ni wana say bibie ni yemre ni mu so a support sa de na was that ekuo no and even up until now is it constitutional?
Okay,
and is it lawful?
Okay, enti mami break your question no into down kakra. First of all, you be say who say ya to aba mo bi na onipa ne president elect. To say president elect no, won be president. Ya to aba ma na so what time on so ye. Into be twen ama president oteso no. Edi ne mre na wie ansa waba. Sa mre no a we president elect no. Emra ma ho kwan ema wo appointment ana. I think the first question is here and answer me the man say you Emra Emma president elect who can say onye certain appointments. Say Emra man who can say onye certain appointments and then appointment be na Emra man who can say onye sa appointment no. You bring us a question now, you bring us a answer now, you be call the Presidential Transition Act. Act 845 ye pass no 2012 e wo Ghana hanom the Presidential Transition Act Act 845 Presidential Transition Act no say section 1 section 1 no aka de ato wo say si yeto abawie ansana meko ma menche Presidential Transition Act ne mu Presidential Transition Act ne yembre bi a Parliament eye no 2012 a ekire kwan a yeto abawie a yemfa so ne yemfa ngitumi emfemfi opanyi oteso no emfa nkoma opanyi a afei na oba no ho nti ano ne embra a ehwe transition ne so kwan yefa so de gitumi no ede kɔ no now wokohwe section 1 of Presidential Transition Act ne mu na obeka kire wo si yeto abawie a within 24 hours after say electoral commission declare say Kofi na ewini ana say ama na ewini no say we declaration ni wi a e was say president oteso no offer president a
we win
no na afi president oteso no obepa nipa ba kron 9 sa nipa 9 no attorney general kan ho bi minister of finance kan ho bi say chief of staff kan ho bi sa nipa no one a woye certain president no ne transitional team so what you say
so say mrano prescribe
so appoint omo sa nipa 9 ana say nipa ba kron na president oteso no appoint won no president ayafe ni ato abama no ono so mrano mani tumi say ono so be point equal number as that time no sa president oni attorney general oni minister of finance oni inti ono no onko appoint positions say dia the oteso na appoint no but mrano man ho kwan say the oteso na appoint nipa 9 dia ono so point nipa 9 ana say ba kron embeka na say wan edu nwotwe sa nipa du nwotwe no one way the presidential transition team wo behwe na enyoma ewo say ewo president de da no ho a wo regedi ama president foforo no bu fi ase ye ho adwuma ho nkrata asem ne ade nyina no nti the first question of whether at the time President Mahama or appointed Ura for no to me say or your appointment and you no to me say your appointment now so the next question be say appointment na mbra man ho kwan say onya no na Ura kan ho ana no the answer is a big no if you say macheche mu say there was specific positions mbra na kire say President Mahama ebetumi appoint at that time because emrana man ho kwan say president elect no utumi appoint transitional team ne wonne transitional team efi incumbent government ho akohia no afi ase aye niam ebetoto akwam no wode agipa wa ma but ora ne de sabre no na tumi bia ni ho no ma President Mahama ejina so e de appoint ora no wo ho enti no at that point in time no na enye backed by law. So what I say. Na we be a question be say enyina mbra so there then what happens? Nema bebre ni ebetimi asi. And esi ade to mbra e wo krom no mu no. The first question esi e be say ho say President Mahama nankasa no team na otewe no dimbe no de to won so. Se ye kaya letter ba bonten no letter ni si wa appointed oral preparatory team. Preparatory team ni che say wa ku bi a wo mra me prapra kwan mu na wontumi nye oral no anampa twa sa ne pa chene yo nti ku na wate won no sebe wo be prapra kwan mu keke wan ba me ye adwuma bia na second letter osan de ba out about oral no osan so kan si sa oral team na wapa won womra me gada information about ubi owo abandada no mu a sebe odi nsa aka abanya japade inti no se obeka ya sa team na em say yewura domelevu ena no ye
oda no
de biem se yewura kujato na da no na domelevu ni Martin Pebu
no ye ekeka
Jumo mobile no ombe bi office ebete website say wa unim so bia bibia no
na de to abonte
brana be report fama yen question be bisa na say adam ye police for ana because say obi ye me bone na me ko police station na me ko report ni pa na police station na police fu e wotumi say wo ko kire ni pa no enti say ye orafo na ba no wo say amanfo me report asemma wa the next question is that wo be report here then we are phone betimi aye we betimi achi nipa na na say won tumi nche won so what you say sa argument na so by Emma ebinum be argument say oh man ni mu no kra no ye was citizen arrest enti say wo report ma oral betumi aye citizen arrest e ho no answer me be man say dabi oral intumi nye citizen arrest say wo hwe actati mu a ye wo kwan a emra na kire say yetumi ye citizen arrest kwan be so yebetumi aye citizen arrest kwan yebetumi aye ne say wo a wo nye police ni na wo ye ordinary citizen no wo gina honom ene wani mpe onipa na di bone bone na onipa na di no enti na ejina wugina nanim no utumi kire nipa no ebia wawia obi ana wakoburu obi wadi obi dem utumi kire no at that point in time na do na koma police as a citizen obi be report ma wo say obi epira obi awia ade obi adi obi dem untumi nkokire no police fun kwan etumi yes arrest no the only time a citizen ebetumi aye citizen arrest ne say wugina ho na crime no esi wani mpe at that point in time no wo tumi say utumi kire criminal no now do no come police so what I say secondly as a citizen nipa no aba be fa wankasa wajapade at that point in time no utumi kire nipa no e de no come police ora no e was Ghana for wajapade na obi akofa Intina just say at that point in time no oral into me and yes citizen arrest. Na say Ghana for Japade a me no win na Ghana for. Inti say almost one we are part of Ghanaians no so want to make say as part of they being a citizen of Ghana no Ghana for Japade they say me no win na there. Good. Ghana for Japade me no win na yende but Ghana wuti. Ghana wonsa. Ghana won nine. So what I say. Ghana no so yehu ni say oyo nipa. Onipa bia so no wo attributes bi nti akwese company say wo fo say me fan say UTV ha ya ye we wo ye adwuma wo UTV but obi koye boni etia UTV a wo untimi mfa nipa na nkọ court age say director say that UTV a no eni betimi di nipa na court in the same way no Ghana no yo nipa na ya fa na ade no embra a kire say so obi fa Ghana ade a hwan na wo say okokoma Ghana so what I say as a citizen no wo ne abetumi aye say wo betumi akwa report ebia as a whistle blower and as a good citizen akwa report ma police but wo report wi a wo won't take action in that same situation no esan say emra na president Mahama etel ora no na onye president into one fa executive instrument and na say parliamentary power bia until ora into no at that point in time no ora any to me say we be report say Ghana dey ayira obetumi akwa say okwa kire nipa na we wi Ghana dey no
information na wo mo gada ye no because me kai say na afenyo marking eta de bia na okasa say me say who say drones and nananam the fie so ni areas na outte say if ye ka say at the time na yete oral no na emre bia ni ho na say tumi bia ni wa na ehye sa president elect no at the time say onte oral na then what happens to information na sebio one more out say one more gather no what then happens to the information they wait me say say information on gather no they gathered it unlawfully and now so say say na president na be president no or to me ratify your friend is saying the how do I even say it or to me ratify it Emma say ku no ebedimu
okay into that question no in legal terms we will be sami say evidence na oral for enya no a tainted evidence and I say a admissible evidence
that's it
so what you say emremu no say adansi a court ejetumo no any oboni fe no admissible evidence that is say evidence no court ejetumo a eyeye say enye admissible a court intumi enjentum emani nyeye so what you say into question ne pa say ora fa kwagweda information ebia obi awia we obi ayesi sa information no esan say na mra ntai ora achi ntino ye de court beji atoma na say court enyi ntum sa na question it no meka e de asisu dia say sa information no wo de court e beji atom e de aye aduma
chemu
very good
I mean how
yes ye wo kwan a court e fa so hwe say evidence na wo de aba no ehun behia court and na say ehun ehia court the first rule of evidence no relevance em say brofo no ya adoso na ye ka relevance a na na ye pa che ne say information na wo de aba no e fa case ni ho bibia na ase mfa ho so ati ase e bia wo se wakwakọ wia enam ene ye de wa ba court na obi nso the evidence aba say e bia enra mi hu say na wo bo obi aso ntie no kwese na wia nam no wo say so to na akọboye no emfa nam wia no ho hwe nti enye relevant evidence a ebe hia court no wo hu ne mo bitimi the evidence ba say enam no yira wo antimuna kitchen 2 o'clock saa 2 o'clock no wonso na odi na kitchen wo nti yese wo na wi anam no eno na ye very relevant evidence whether onipa no the information ne buy no or presidential power ana oni presidential power no emfa ho court ebeji sa information no e dey aye adwuma but what you say but whereby evidence no emfa case no ho hwe enye relevant evidence no court intimi nje irrelevant evidence entom wo court e ma nye yi number 2 you bibia ye fe no illegally acquired evidence illegally acquired evidence no ebi ne say ebia police a kire wo say wakwako wiade police for kire wo no won abro ena ama watumi agya to mo say ampa me na me wiade no because bro na won abro no am wabre wo pese wo gye to mo na wo ye free ena wagya to mo at that point in time no esa na bro na police for bro woni nti no sa evidence no eye tainted evidence illegally acquired evidence it is a court agi sa information to ma inyeye if you say information no we am fan ma voluntarily wo bro wa na wo the pressure to so ena ma wo gye to mu say ampa we wiade we hu nti no se orafo no amfa tuya nkosi obi so won amia obi kon won intimidate obi a name evidence no wanya na chese nipa na wiade a court ebeje sa evidence na tomo e de aye adwuma whether oral no e legal and say enye illegal because evidence na oral for ni nyan no e relevant, admissible and not tainted so what you say again evidence e bit make say tainted ni bi so here secretly recorded conversations
I was actually going to come to that.
Good. Ghana ha no ye wo standard of proof e wo case BM say a civil case the general rule in fact there's a case called Raphael Kubaji versus Assemblies of God and now city sa principles ni na church ni na mo say civil proceedings prove ne preponderance of probabilities not just say civil proceedings no a proof no level no e wo form kakra it's say level no wo form kakra nti no won't mean fast secretly recorded conversation enkonko dia dance e was civil case mu say me no e was civil case na mpese me record o koye ya emra mba be record no e was say me ma wo ya we say mba be record so what I say for example ya ba meeting and you record meeting no eno no you can't tell me say na wunnim say you be record meeting no because meeting be ko bia obi 2 minutes
yes
into no eno na nye secretly recorded baby me the camera bia ba beteta wo fia wo nya we na me record wa for civil cases no won't me use sa recording no but in criminal cases they obejatum because we look at public policy and national security and other things because never be one man na ehun yehu pa
na worry kana corruption ntia orally wo hoyinti na corruption e bepa under civil
corruption
say criminal
say eba criminal prosecution na say oral record information be secretly court beje sa recording no atom nemum eba say recovery of sikana we na no na civil case so at that point in time no secretly recorded conversation no court intimi engine tum because it was secretly recorded intino to answer you no even though oral at the time President Mahama equity oral no na oni to me say or decree oral no evidence and answer information oral for na insaka no say what ma police fo and attorney general and yoku and special prosecutor na sanko free the court say what the prosecute obi a to the extent says our evidence no admissible relevant and not illegally acquired no betimi aka e dey sisu dia say court ebeji sa evidence na atom e de aye adwuma
yen hwe ekrom ha em say ye wo ha ni enim so attorney general na was atumi na otumi prosecute all cases on behalf of Ghana and na ye ho na president bi ba no so bete office of the special prosecution no so em say adwuma no seminar na oye and as say president Mahama so aba and na ye wo oral operation recover all loot se wo hwe ye mra ni mu a president no ewo ho kwan anasa ye wo mre bi wo ho egina ho a yetumi ete ekuo bi a etesa outside of your friend say ye wo yoko ye all these other institutions a wo mu nyina no corruption kro ya na wo mo fight na say ye sign di bi aka ho no emra ne ma ho kwan sa.
Okay, first of all entiase amenya wo ora no ho no eche say ora no eye project enye institution. This was the dia committee na omote ya na okujata blackwa chairman say say committee negu if you say one adwuma wo ye ne say ko gada information and we presenting information no e the map president what the map president we the president so the information na ma attorney general which means say sa oral preparatory team no egu but oral na nkasa de iwu ye because sa attorney general so to aso say okoye prosecution na say oral na o eden ogusu a oye no good. Now to answer your question directly, Bibia ni ho a esi President Mahama ho kwan say obekọ parliament. Say krompo wo majority. Say obekọ parliament no beka say parliament mon pass oral act emame. Na embeye emre wo honom say ye oral. Nothing stops him from doing that. Obetumi akọ parliament. So long as obenya parliament, majority of parliament na wan man sa approval no. Obetumi enya approval no they are set up oral no as a legal entity woman mu say enya adwuma but as at now no onye sa de no nti no we can only see it as a project bi odi asine ni so say obeye oye nti no I think that is the answer. Yes.
See, at the time now, your constitution, no, I established said na maybe anyone na back. Into one more acquire your friends, whistleblowers, one more equity a dancer now, one more the information because at the time, no, say ebia me. What me now ebia wo de ma asem e course ankofo no ha me wo tumi say bia wo sa nipa na ebia wo ka ma asem wo honom no me tumi SU and I say me to me the whole afamra kwan so.
Well, so what the report ekoma oral. I don't see how nipa na me den ho report kwan e betumi anya information no e de me akoport.
Say bia na mate won from him.
What one court on the infam from mama say me adwuma won.
Enyen do court you but at least I am privy to the fact say bia see me see de me ekọ honom and as I see me see co report say bia na me no why dealings be in the past nti bia wa co report me say e kan around na man for suru nti you say me say na people were willingly going to volunteer information na bia me feel say since that institution was not a legally backed institution no and now we need to me wo how do I even say one we need to me so almost say oh it was almost yes and it was almost yeah na first make me see omo anyway and then whoever also sent information there no make me see you sani pakron.
Okay, number one won't me see oral because oral
na because who say ebimu lawyers ewa abonte a wo mo ka say oral was illegal and that whatever information we o magada bia no enye adwuma ene ye frɛ o kra say bedi adanse a enko and all of that.
Very good.
Yeah,
very
yeah,
good. I'll come there.
Lawyer me pese won cheche mu na yenti.
Number one, because of the fact say oral no enye entity ye register general economy ye parliament so pass mre bia am setting it up president so fa EIB am ba out no intino ama oral na organization bia you can't take them to court say obi de won asema ko hono because e bia just okosi individuals na wo mu no so what you say now as to say obi de me ho asema ko hono metimi asi unipa no no so in my respectful view you know won't me see unipa because it is just like e bia me no wa hey na makọ report wa ma producer say me hu say wakofa microphone bi a your office dey wakofa de adwane akofie say wan kasa de kwakoye o program ofie at that point na me report wo ma producer no onye police ni he's just an ordinary citizen. But my reporter man say, "What we are there?" So what I say, so obetia, won't me infaming court. Unless say we are make a publication outside of reporting to your producer, not about defamation. And could any defamation there, and they wait me sue me for defamation. But to the extent say, me reporting ma oral and kwano, oral ni nipe bia, with information akwa ma intino say oral and Bible and time make say near man the information you buy, nobody can tell. And once you don't have that information, say o court kwa na o de make court, I won't improve say na me report intino it will be very difficult. Now, as to lawyers now, what say? We invite one client, I want my one client in court. They are right. Because oral doesn't have coercive powers. Say police invite Sebra. Na say we say won kwa. Police bit me abaufi ababechiro. But oral invite Sebra. Na say we say won kwa. Oral need to me say obabechiro. Until it's a lawyer because say all money client enko oral the lawyer is right and as a lawyer no one who can say okasa but on the other side no say all client is to say unwie bibia boni bia ni ne ho na oral a friend say oh yenya information we betima ba chire mu I feel say okọ na eyampa say unwie bibia na okọ chire mu it saves you from any future arrest.
Okay, atisem ebi ne say say oral for adwuma ne bi ne nam so ma office of the special prosecutor issue warrant for your friend say your former finance minister say ye nkyere no na me pese me bisa say oral adwuma yi bi na ebi omo de koma attorney general ya na attorney general issue your friend say warrant say ye fine nkyere no ya and Emra Kwine Sono, I'm trying to say it in tree anyway. Emra Kwine Sono, na the prosecutor no, and as the office of the prosecutor no, was he right say, or yes, or issue warrants no, a quiner of us so issue warrants now, and now so say you should have probably waited and gone through all the investigations, maybe a career quarter and san ebia or the sa warrants na babe to abonting.
Well, I don't mean ni say because of oral information tina OSP issue warrant on the former finance minister. The India maker say if unless I'm wrong, but memory I make kind say oral for no the one report come president and a president after some time about out we can say we refer the ama attorney general. Yente say attorney general can say or the SAR report in the Akoma OSP. So what you say? OSP ne so ba out or can say we issue arrest warrant no. Or can say now or investigate papa no for a long time. Na emra oye ready say I was say watch the papa no. Na papa no in Ghana. Wa cho letter akoma papa ne say papa ne mra. And na papa no so say onim do beba Ghana. Because of that no we issue arrest warrant. Let's even say near OSP no it's oral information so let's even say that way and say OSP adwuma in any way because oral don't forget say nipa na no we oral preparatory team for no they are Ghanaians first of all it's not say we Ghana for no wo ho kwan say wo koye petition and answer report edema OSP and answer attorney general intino even if they have received and I say even when the information if oral no the information na come at OSPC onfa enkoye adwuma OSP wo ho kwan say all the same information no ye adwuma if you say ohun say substance e wo mu a obetimi the substance no aye adwuma OSP so share report no hu say report we dey bibia ni mu a obeto atwene no apani ba bia kwakotena nti at the end of the day no whether based on oral or not no and say OSP. Now, the final part of your question is say, why are OSP fast so the issue
warrant?
Your friend is saying, search
arrest wanted
yes. So far, OSP about became so about the say or court warrant me. Now, and waiting when papa na channel. Even police officers, they don't need to go to court and say when they declare wanted. Say police for frail sebra na wamba na one more opportunity now on banner there. They have some internal process be offer movie they can now declare you as a wanted person. Now one send a signal at the all the other police officers in the areas are would you say wo hon say wo nyama won kire wo mra intino enye no kwa say all the time answer now be declare will be wanted no e will say court e ma order answer
me bisasa e san say senior say as a wo hwe nipa na ono akoback akwa sue OSP based on that but answer now be answer question no e mra no say wo UTV so ye call break na ye ba na ye de enkomo no atoa so na ugusu a wo hwe ye me say ye be kona ye nkomo no efa OSP ho nsem ni na aka oral nsem ya ye keken ye ho nti me bisa say ba ne sen na afedie nia me say ye declare ne wanted they say no so aba wetumi enya to me say okay me say the way I wo fast so I wo declare me na me say na enam emra kwan so nti saa de a ene me so me ye de miss you wo back and I walk out to because I'm lawyer.
Okay. They are good. Intino, don't say Ghana Hanankasa na ye won. Say ususu say ubia ya dibi. No one farm rakwan so anya. Won farm running show nsem. Na wan kasa won konko. Chiri nipa say one farm rakwan so intino. I'm fighting you. Court and abeko. Na court ahwehwe ma hwe say nipa na de no ye no. Mrakwan so ana say enye mrakwan so. So what they say. OSP no. Office of the Special Prosecutor no who can act na emranu mu baby no one man to me say or your police ni and I say office no police powers and ntina OSP it me invite you be no say ya kire we are say ya den ya ma bail kire ni bail na police for it me here sad no e Ghana hanom into to the extent to say OSP emrana ka say or police powers no na che say adibia police for ye bia no OSP so betimi aden obetimi ayebi intino I want to believe say whatever process e was say OSP no efa so no dey declare obi wanted no say one fa sa process ne so nipa no won ho kwan say obetimi de wakọ court say odo court at that point in time no OSP ne said ne say obeba court no ba be kire court say ade a meye yi no say na mra ne kani inti meye ni nyina pepepe inti no I'm not at fault so when me am be kire the court will declare the wanted as unlawful so to me ba no be kire nso a court ni be dismiss asem no that is say OSP ato aso say obehwa after the suit came up no OSP so asan ba bonten abe issue another warning say papa no say date or the man no say date ne so na wamba Ghana obesan so activity systems na or the declare no wanted biom no inti ni nyina no unfolding event say eba yebesua de afim ne yehu say ne da na say ne da
ebi mo say oral ya ye say team committee ni ko egu kra na oral ya ye political witch hunting na your friend say president no try say obeye na mpese me bisa say when it comes to corruption emrano emma ye president you ought to say obedi etre specifically so no ankasa would decide say be obedi etre so kwakwa fight corruption no with any means bia obetumi aye
okay constitution nature say the executive is the president of Ghana so what you say inti once you have three branches of the government your executive your parliament and your judiciary ebe executive na president on executive no minister crowd me I believe say vetting crowd where minister say who nim faso because say the way I'm rather no say we minister now koya adibi na president empa otumi stop it at any time because what the president need to me and na ede ye adwuma so what you say to the extent say the executive is the president of Ghana no say executive naba na osusu say corruption how on mine no inti opese of fight corruption na or who kwan say otumi fight corruption no nemum e was of fight corruption no in the legal ways set down legal ways na ya setting down no he uko the same constitution na your police police e yedma dem president police na wo ho kwan say obi e corruption na police e be kire no na wode no akọ court wo be investigation apart from police no ye wo other investigative agencies are when now ultimately worry adwuma e dey am president the president alone it is a president aba no for say okay said their corruption na ye no say kwan a mepɛ sɛ mefa so na me de yɛ adwuma ni a wɔn ho kwan sɛ obetumi ayusu emre bi a wo ho bia any strategy bi ohia bia na or the fight corruption no. And in this case president ni say ono no pɛ sɛ ɔyɛ oral so what I say problem aye won ho an say oral no on fan call parliament emma parliament en kan say ya set up any organization but from the way I see it no akwa say project bi and a president no area
obi beka say Rambo style way of arresting plan na say wo ho na aboeru obi fie na asay ye kwakwako cheno na say kwakwako hwehwe ne fie no no nso so lawyer den na wo ekafa ho say ye be boeru fie say kwakwako chiwa na kwakwako hwehwe no all in the name of oral
all in the name of oral no so far I think I can say on authority say me hu wo baabia say ebia Martin Pebu Yura Domelevu ana Yuru Kujato ana Raymond Acha wan kasa wan boewura obi fisi wo kwakose eche no to the extent say me hu say sa nipa no akogboewura obi fisi wo kwakose eche no that means say nya wo ye no lawful if you say oral no they don't have the powers of arrest inti Yuru Okujato entumi nkobonwura obi fisi okwakose eche no nemom say Yuru Okujato fo say ebia when we say sika bi should be fi na wo some cause no ko report ma IGP na IGP esma police for say won koye na at that point in time no even though oral na adwuma no wo dem rakwan no e na adwuma no because aposifo no wo to me say wo ko search obi fi em say dana ye ba ha na ye discuss sa nyoma no ntino say oral fo na nkasa amfa mra na nse won sem na wan bo anwura nkofu fi si wo kwa search won na police service and I say ebia yoku and special prosecutor emrana ma won ho kwan say won ko search no won woro kwa search there at that point in time no ora enye boni bia
je hwe say edubu ahene kwabna edubu ahene ne wife ya say attorney general ne omunya ntawantawa bi e public space. What's your legal take on that? Well, we are all handle case no
well from the Ameridi wo media no no yoku ena akere yewura edubu ahene
ma me fan ko echepo kakra is it okay and is it legal say attorney general ebe ba bonten say asimesi why say na evidence and say niema kakra na wo mo agada about you know wo mo de betudwa e wa bonten say amanfo nyina nkan bi
okay inti ma me starting fi Mr. Edubu ahene national afi me fan bra hanom no first of all my understanding is say yoku ena actually Mr. Edubu ahene yoku granting bail now so bail na yoku dia granting no e so high say papa no untimi miti bail no until he is still in custody me hu say problematic I didn't know problematic emrana can pay say police intimi nchire nipa for more than 48 hours in my humble opinion no emra Yokufu who say within 48 hours nipa no intimi meet bail conditions no e will say Yokufu ede Yewura Edubu ahene eko court then the court will decide say ya remand o and I say ya ma new bail but what I say then in that case no na Yoku eyi ne ho afi asem ni mu but say na Yoku ankasa ede ne pe ama ne bail na nipa na di more than 48 hours na still a ontumi meet ne bail conditions no kwasem ni I believe say violating human rights at this point in time. Say Yoku any attorney general per se one keep Yewura Edubu ahene say walk court. Then the court will decide say okay mama will see and now say my remandel. Then at that point in time no one the problem be now on the second issue of whether attorney general will to me say
before I ever call no. Okay. So in essence, what you are saying say Yoku, one your friends say economic, your friends say crime unit
economics and organized
crime unit are you saying say even if they have reasonable and I say reasonable suspicion, say asimesi ayese and asa wa yese and na ebia omo gada omo evidence omo show the quantum of the crime na nipa na committee they don't have any right say e was omo keep nipa no more than 48 hours
nipa na kum nipa mpa wa committee murder mpa nyambra ne kan wo mani mu ne say say what trainer as an investigative body no who to me say we keep on for 2 days and now 48 hours say what for say ehun hia say we be keeping for more than 48 hours court na court emma permission say we be keeping for more than 48 hours.
But in this case say last no buy and we esua ade bi now say police for etumi wo chewa wo mutumi ma bill and I'm believing say yoko for so say be o mukita police powers
exactly
into so mukita police powers wo mo dey so mo set bill wo na want to meet bill condition now. How does that become an infringement on your right?
Yes, when we say nipa ni ntumi keep ni ntumi meet ni bill condition no, he is still in your custody. Running man who can say be keeping for more than 48 hours. Intino to avoid liability because say no, Mr. Dubois ni able to me at the yoku ako court. Say we keeping for more than 48 hours. I'm a yoku about to judgment debt. Mr. Dubois hine. Intino for me no, say me na me yoku director to avoid liability no. Emra wo chire nipa na wo for say wo hian for more than 48 hours no. We bet me at na court. Na court am and remand. Say court and remand it will afford you all the opportunity to be able to keep him na investigation kwan wo say wo ye no why ye wo kona court nso se wo man bail and the enye wa say me court na man bail nti obi amba beblemu say wanye wadwuma ye ne mu me court and am nipa ni bail nti no that is my position on it.
Okay, afi to asoma me
now on the issue of whether attorney general say wakoye investigation na we hu say evidence bi wo ho na whether obit me dey beto abonten na ontumi fa beto abonten no me hu ne say it is got nothing to do with law but rather strategy. So what you say strategy no na say e bia na information attorney general na wo no ofo say e was say or update on mine no because don't forget say oral no a political promise
yes
say if by the end of the 4 years Ghana for susu say President Mahama entimi anye oral na Ghana for betwe na so so what you say inti was say at every point in time no say eto de bia na embrane ne politics no e very intertwined inti no sa topic here discuss there's a lot of politics in it but embrane so sa na etening because attorney general no or your MP which means you're a politician or essentially a minister of justice which means you're a politician inti at the end of the day no na ban make promises say yeba ye be ko ketasehye through a system called oral yeba no whether yetumi aya na ase yintumi nye no ese magana for update wahu enti emre bia ani ho no ma esi watone gi no ho kwan say ontimi ma bonten emma meka say ma kire nipa tre no mo awia say ni say ye won ho aduma e do ho akokot there's no law that prevents attorney general from
the reason why me bisa sa question say and me sure say ashrefo be brain so wo musa na wo madwen and I'll come back to the fact say per se obi a ya kire no he's innocent until proven guilty into per se nipa no assembly yenye ndi wieye na so I say what the same way I would have to abonti they say we call social media and e ho na edi agro we show comments na banana quite to say amafo agya to wie and I say automatically then say in the public opinion no just say odifo you understand you don't want that to arise into na maybe say yes say nipa no mwachre ne de and I say bia mo ne nam kwan so amu hwehwe mu I who say ade na mo kasa maye no waye court nyem buaye nanso mo de aba beto abonten se ye yesa na nyem mra no na asa ye gu mra no enimutia
we dey wona obisa me question no so nem person bisa question ba ko question na person me bisa no say
I'm the mouthpiece of my viewers.
Oh, anti me bisa viewers ni na. Say police for ekokokire akronfo suspected criminals. Na police for etwa akronfo no pictures. No what the issue statement, press statement and na say Facebook post e be ka say o ene police ekoye operation ewo Ablekuma. Ya kire nipa 15 na yes suspect say we we smokers we am robbers we say this say na what the beto ho no ma police fu na gu nipa no hu fi na wo wu
lawyer wo na be chiri mama ye
well the point na person me making ni na say a part of crime fighting and you know even ye attorney general kwampo e de ni sinchan there are several crime fighting agencies wotumi ko chire obi say nipa na yeboni bi na one announce it through a press statement and a Facebook post and sometimes in press conference. And so we bet me a court no one can do for if he say evidence now later when you are what the court no evidence no court na njantum inti woman to me and convicted the panel. So what I say inti say police for chiro no we beka say oh ya chiro say why say ni say ya it doesn't mean say they have convicted you. That is how I mean who the attorney general the attorney general here na say o person o manfo ni na hu say ori ye adwuma no adwuma na oye no wa kire nipa bi nipa na o kire won these are the crimes we investigate here o person o de won court as to whether or the misedugo ahne court obe wini ana say on wini no eno no ya ye te hei ye ntimi nkire evidence attorney general be gada or the be court no ene be ma yetumi ehu say obetumi awini amwonya conviction ana say onya conviction.
Mr. Dubois hindi obi beka say sebe papa no na ebia wakodi ne boni ebia na yere so ede na bata ho ye no so how
well from the information attorney general de buy no na che say Mr. Dubois hin na yere at a company bi allegedly say what is the di fee national signals bureau na no what is kana kwa kogu sa company na account mu na once what they are running one business so to the extent say ma many can who be na what yes and na so no so can who be or a participant of the crime in fact that is the worst of the attorney general as at now no it has not been proven. Okay
na me last question let me say me bisa answer na yakọ say obi maybe the person going through prosecution at the moment my main fan to say your former finance minister oforiata idie ya say ye wo ye asem no ye nya investigating we entoto na no we ye prosecute asem ni we na so no so account as you so obi yes sir does it stop the continuance of the ejuma na prosecution na say OSP no in the same vein say the attorney general na bia oye bibi na say nipa ne feel say baby o ho wa tochema enti men so me counter sue nipa ne counter sue say bia attorney general na say OSP na stop the original case na bia nipa no no.
Okay ordinarily say police for achiro and I say any investigative agency achiro na they are yet to begin prosecution. Now wo for say when tete alfa ho ni bia utumi de won court sa court now the one akono it should not necessarily stop the prosecution from going on so wo for say one investigation awie no person wo prosecute wo be prosecute ensiw bibia ntumi ensiw won ho kwan in this case is a little bit interesting the entire interesting and say say some of the reliefs are former finance minister pen bi say court stop it OSP from investigating him. Now, no, I make say very interesting because OSP this na adwuma na oye. Otherwise, no, me na ote hey ebia makodi boni bi na police for ba investigation na. Me tumi akokota ka check court na say one for injunction to police for say it will be very interesting outcome e be fimu ababati. Akoye court asem nti no e ho no yentumi nka na bebre. But they metumi aka na say investigative agency be actual na wo say wo do court na wonye won adwuma wie na wo di kind one court no ordinarily ain't me stop investigative agency from prosecuting you at the time I for say when you want evidence now we bet me dey prosecute you.
Make say last one but let me say my viewers know about cause count enkofo we feel say identity na wo say your ma announcement time ya ba be chiro to say OSP what issue wanted ama asimesi nipa no amba ebia wa ma explanation bi waji atum na say wo sign person o chini bi ma aden na wo say be ma ho announcement ka che nipa kro na say wo bone kokko asa no aye ukọ social media again make say ama say viewers feedback ayenya say enkofo bebre adwin mu yo mo say asa wo yes asa wo boa na ma so obi bi o so disia na say you are giving the person too much time to do that. What do you think about that? What's your own views?
Police for strategy. Say police for per watch na they do everything possible no nyawa. Sometimes we publish your picture. No they have to media mu say ye hia esiamesi ana obentin. Nti wo obi hu no fanebra. Ana wo a won information no fanebra. In the same vein no say OSP and I say you could eba out ebe ka say you declare will be wanted the person working in and say we hear public participation and as a public cooperation to be able to get the person. E be an announcement ni mu no obi betumi ache say o papa no o hye ha anase o hye ha. Na based on that no information we benya no what they are question, and it happens all over the world. Say aposifo in every country Apple be ache no wo say nipa no wonya na they publicize it. We publicize here. Now when nipa na ba be alert say nipa no yehu na ye de ne information. Even sometimes krempo we to me discuss to so say bia papa we ye hia no nti wa betumi nya information ya kwakonya no ye ma 100,000 Ghana cedis. And it motivates people to bring out information na ama wetimi akwakoche nipa no.
Nti time now feel say the ama no no de enye nche say ye de boa no.
No. You see what I see from it and I say ne lawyers edikan actual letter say your client no eyare. And it's something that we all do. There are several times ABR police be frɛ obi say ye hia wo police station Monday anopa wa mba ba be chew na nipa na ba wo ho as lawyer oba na be say okay adinti na wuntumi nko Monday o say ABR me wukuma ase ana me wo outside Ghana nti no me ntumi nko say oba meji police ni number no na ma frɛ police na ma ka chen so ese me see me client me gidi di pa say onwane nti no ma me time na me mfa ne mra I believe say enu bi na former finance minister and lawyers no and the OSPA no but the only problem about that was that woman to me and specific data finance minister per se oba they simply say we need time obeba say no na ma OSP so apprehensive say some be catch me say we need time oba na some part say aduma no ma me so at say ntino OSP so ba to be declare say why wanted one say later no lawyers need to me call back if kind say okay date we no beba and ma OSP come at on yam no so koyi wanted no edify until it's part of the strategy.
Yo me da say lawyer Richard ni ama private legal practitioner ono na one yen atwetwe nkomo afa oral operation recover all loot. Ese committee ne gudi en so oral projects ne de em say wa na ekoso na yen na yet your mind mu ye be hwe ne be kwa kosi na em say after 4 years no ye be hu say projects no wo mutumi eye ne ya na say bia wo mu anye ne na me ne wo ye be judge mran say e wo UTV so me din e de eku asante ba mensa da say ne say ye be sen hye bye bye.